The Middle East is infamously quite an unstable region as it is. The fact that the Syrian government is a democratically elected government in control and in power means that they should be able to accept weapons supplies from fellow countries, from other countries around the globe, including Russia. That will help to make a more stable region, because the country representing the people, the one that has been voted into power, is actually exerting their authority and exerting their power.
Alright, so this guy, Bashar, clearly did not study maths when he went to school, because 1 + 1 does not equal 0. And if 0 is what they want and have stability, how would that happen by adding more weapons to the situation? All that would do is add more fuel and lead to more casualties in the region, not stability.
But Narvir, it's not about casualties. We're asking a question about increasing stability in the region. Now, we know that the EU embargo on weapon supplies to Syria is about to expire. And we know that the British and the French governments are likely to be supplying weapons to the rebels fighting against the Syrian government. Under those circumstances, it's only fair and equitable that the Syrian government is allowed to take in weapons from other countries, to order in weapon supplies so they can fight against the rebels. If both sides have equal amounts of weapons, have equal access to weapons, you will have stability because they won't want to tackle each other.
So your logic is saying, if everyone equally has the same amount of arms, it'll be fair and it'll be peaceful. As far as I see it, that would mean that every child, every man, they would all have to carry like tanks and rocket launchers and make sure it's all equal. Same with governments. They would have to all have nuclear weapons. That will lead to a crisis, and it will be just a crazy situation on a global climate.
This one very unique event that took place at that mosque in Yorkshire last weekend is reflective of how powerful our words really are, more than we give them credit for. Using our words, opening channels of communication, engaging people in dialogue can have real change. We can resolve our differences, solve the problems that we as wider society face, if we just take the time to engage one another in conversation. I think we should expect that as civilized human beings.
But the thing to remember is, this was only a small-scale incident. It only involved half a dozen EDL members. So, EDL runs with a pack mentality. If they were in their true numbers, their real intentions, their real philosophy would have come out. If that did happen, the channels of communication would not have been open.
Okay, Narvir, it was a small-scale incident, and yes, it didn't include the large numbers that normally attend protests from the EDL. Similarly, the large numbers of people who are in mosques to repel these protests against them. But I think we should still hope that we could replicate events like this on a larger scale if we just give them a chance. If we try to open those channels of communication, then why can't they work on larger scales?
The reason they can't work on larger scales is because these two groups only ever meet on larger scales. Yes, they might be able to get together and eat tea and biscuits if they're on a regional basis, but on a national basis, they only ever meet when they're protesting.
The creation of these 214 posts in drug de-addiction centres in Punjab shows that the government is serious about tackling this very grave issue. They've identified de-addiction centres in the north, in Amritsar, in the centre in Jalandhar, and in the south in Patiala, covering the whole geographical area of the Punjab. That shows that the government is serious. They're not leaving anyone behind. They should be given credit for doing so.
But in the grand scheme of things, a mere 214 jobs to deal with a problem which is affecting the 27 million is not good enough. It is affecting every single household. This solution is not good enough. All it is one big joke.
Okay, we all know that drug addiction in Punjab is a huge problem, and I don't think the government think they're going to solve it with this one solution. It's just one solution. What it's going to do, though, is it's going to show that the government is serious about tackling this issue, serious about solving that drug addiction. The fact that they've invested in 214 jobs is massive, and I'm sure there'll be investment other than financial that will go along with these 214 posts. This is a serious way of the Punjab government of solving this crisis.
All this was a political appeasement for the people. When the elections come and go, you'll realise that none of these positions ever even came, none of them were ever even filled. And the few that were probably by family relations.